Hey guys, how we doing today? Just hanging out? Are we being good for mom? I hope so. All right, so we're gonna read a book. What are your thoughts about that? You ready for the book? Horton hears a who. Are you guys sitting down? Lincoln, Whitman, Max? Need you guys to pay attention. This is a good book, so I need your undivided attention. You got the book? Let's get started. Horton hears a who. Horton hears a who. On the 15th of May, in the jungle of Knoll, in the heat of the day, in the cool of the pool, he was splashing, enjoying the jungle's great joys, when Horton, the elephant, heard a small noise. So Horton stopped splashing. He looked toward the sound. That's funny, thought Horton. There's no one around. Then he heard it again, just a very faint yelp, as if some tiny person were calling for help. I'll help you, said Horton, but who are you? Where? He looked and he looked. He could see nothing there but a small speck of dust blowing past through the air. I say, murmured Horton, I've never heard tell of a small speck of dust that is able to yell. So you know what I think? Why, I think that there must be someone on top of that small speck of dust. Some sort of creature of very small size, too small to be seen by an elephant's eye. Some poor little person who's shaking with fear that'll blow in the pool. He has no way to steer. I'll just have to save him because, after all, a person's a person, no matter how small. See how small he is? So gently and using the greatest care, the elephant stretched his great trunk through the air and lifted the dust speck and carried it over and placed it down safe on a very soft clover. Humph! Humphed the voice. 'Twas a sour kangaroo, and the young kangaroo in her pouch said humph too. Why, that speck is as small as the head of a pin, and a person on that, why, there has never been. Believe me, said Horton, I'll tell you sincerely. My ears are quite keen, and I heard them quite clearly. I know there's a person down there, and what's more, quite likely there's two, even three, even four, quite likely a family, for all that we know. A family with children just starting to grow, so please, Horton said, as in a favor to me, try not to disturb them. Just please let them be. You guys being good? You listening? We're 3 minutes in. You better not be acting up. I think you're a fool, laughed the sour kangaroo, and the young kangaroo in her pouch said, Me too. You're the biggest blamed fool in the jungle of Knoll, and the kangaroos plunged in the cool of the pool. What a terrible splashing, the elephant frowned. I can't let my very small person get drowned. I've got to protect them, I'm bigger than they. So he plucked up the clover and hustled away. Through the high jungle treetops, the news grew quickly. He talks to a dust speck, he's out of his head, and just look at him walk with that speck of that on that flower. And Horton walked, worrying almost an hour. Should I put this speck down? Horton thought with alarm. If I do, these small persons may come to great harm. I can't put it down, and I won't. After all, a person's a person, no matter how small. Then Horton stopped walking. The small voice was talking. The voice was so faint he could barely hear it. Speak up, please, said Horton. He put his ear near it. My friend, came the voice. You're a very fine friend. You've helped us all folks on this dust speck no end. You've saved all our houses, our ceilings and floors. You've saved all our churches and grocery stores. You mean, Horton gasped, you have buildings there too? Oh, yes, piped the voice, we most certainly do. I know, called the voice. I'm too small to be seen, but I'm the mayor of the town that is friendly and clean. Our buildings to you would seem terribly small, but to us we aren't big, but they're wonderfully tall. My town is called Whoville, for I am a Who, and who are all thankful and grateful to you. And Horton called back to the mayor of the town, You're safe now, don't worry, I won't let you down. But just as he spoke to the mayor of the speck, 3 big jungle monkeys climbed up Horton's neck. The whiskering brothers came shouting, What rot? This elephant's talking to who are not. There aren't any who's, and they don't have a mayor, and we're all going to stop this nonsense, so there. They snatched Horton's clover. They carried it off to a black-bottomed eagle named Vladikov, a mighty strong eagle, a very swift wing. And they said, "Will you kindly get rid of this thing?" And before the poor elephant could even speak, the elephant flew off with a flower in his beak. All that afternoon and far into the night, that black-bottomed bird flapped his wings in fast flight, while Horton chased after with groans over stones that tattered his toenails and battered his bones, and begged, "Please don't harm all my little folks, who have as much right to live as us bigger folks, too." But far, far behind him, that eagle kept flapping, and over his shoulder came back, "Quit your yapping. I'll fly through the night. I'm a bird. I don't mind it, and I'll hide this morning where you'll never find it." At 6:56 the next morning, he did it, and it was a terrible place that he hid it. He let that small clover drop somewhere inside of a great patch of clovers 100 miles wide. "Find that," sneered the bird, "but I think you will fail," and he left with a flip of his black-bottomed tail. "I'll find it," cried Horton. "I'll find it or bust. I shall find my friends on my small speck of dust." And clover by clover by clover with care, he picked and searched them and called, "Are you there?" But clover by clover by clover he found that one he sought for was not around. And by noon, poor old Horton, more dead than alive, had picked and searched and piled up 9,005. Then, on the afternoon, hour after hour, until he found it on the 30 millionth flower. "My friends," cried the elephant, "tell me, do tell me, are you safe, are you sound, are you whole, are you well?" From down in the speck came the voice of the mayor. "Shh. We've really had trouble, much more than our share. When that black-bottomed bird let go and we dropped, we landed so hard that our clocks all have stopped, our teapots have broken, our rocking chairs smashed, and our bicycle tires all blew up when we crashed. So Horton, please," pleaded that voice of the mayor's, "will you stick by us who's while we're making repairs?" "Of course," Horton answered. Of course I'll stick. I'll stick by you small folks through thin and through thick." "Humph, humph," the voice. "For almost 2 days you've run wild and insisted on chatting with persons who never exist. Such carry-ons in our peaceful jungle. We've had quite enough of your bellowing bungle. And I'm here to state," snapped the big kangaroo, "that your silly nonsensical game is all through." And the young kangaroo in her pouch said, "Me too." With the help of the Whiskerman brothers and dozens of Whiskerman uncles and Whiskerman's cousins and Whiskerman in-laws whose help I've engaged, you're going to be roped and you're going to be caged. And as for that speck, that shall boil in a hot steaming kettle of bezel nut oil." "Boil it?" gasped Horton. "Oh, that you can't do. It's full of persons. That I'll prove to you." Mr. Mayor," Horton called, "you've got to prove now that you're really there. So call a big meeting, get everyone out. Make every who holler, make every who shout, make every who scream. If you don't ever who, it's going to end up in bezelnut stew." And down in the small speck, the scared little mayor, quick, called a big meeting in Whoville town square. And his people cried loudly. They cried out in fear, "We are here! We are here! We are here! We are here!" The elephant smiled. That was clear as a bell. The kangaroo surely heard it very well. "All I heard," snapped the big kangaroo, "was the breeze and the faint sound of wind through the far distant trees. I heard no small voices, and you didn't either." And the young kangaroo in her pouch said, "Me neither." "Grab him," they shouted, and they caged in the big dope. "Lasso his stomach with 10 miles of rope. Tie the knot so tight he'll never shake his loose. Then dunk that dumb speck in the bezelnut juice." Horton fought back with great vigor and vim, but the Whiskerman gang was too many for him. They beat him, they mauled, they started to haul him into the cage, but he managed to call, "To the mayor, don't give up. I believe in you all. A person's a person no matter how small, and you very small persons will not have to die if you make yourself heard. So come on now and try." The mayor grabbed a tom-tom. He started smacking all over Whoville. They whooped up a racket. They rattled tin kettles. They beat on brass pans, on garbage pail tops and old cranberry cans. They blew bazookas and blasted great toots on clarinets, oomphas and poomphas and flutes. Great gusts of loud racket rang through the air. They rattled and shook the whole sky, and the mayor called up through the howling and mad hullabaloo, "Hey, Horton, how's this? Is our sound coming through?" And Horton called back, "I can hear you just fine, but the kangaroo's ears aren't as strong as quite mine. They don't hear a thing, and you sure all your boys are doing their best? Are they making all the noise? Are you sure every who down in Whoville is working? Quick, look through your town. Is anyone shirking?" They rushed through the town. Through the town rushed the mayor from east to the west, but everyone seemed to be doing his best. Everyone seemed to be yapping and yipping. Everyone seemed to be beeping and bopping, but it wasn't enough. All this ruckus and roar. He had to find someone to help him make more. He raced through the building. He searched from floor to floor, and just as he felt he was getting nowhere, he was almost about to give up in despair. He suddenly burst through a door, and that mayor discovered one shirker, quite hidden in the Fairfax apartments 12J. A very small shirker named Jojo was standing and bouncing a yo-yo, not making a sound, not a yip, not a chirp, and the mayor rushed inside and he grabbed that young twerp. And he climbed with the lad up the Eiffelberg Tower. This, cried the mayor, is the town's darkest hour. The time for all the Whovilles who have blood that is red to come to the aid of their country, he said. We've got to make noises in the great amounts. So open your mouth, lad, for every voice counts. Thus he spoke as he climbed. When they got to the top, the lad cleared his throat and shouted, Yop! And that yop, that one small extra yop, put it over. Finally, at last, from that speck on that clover, the voices were heard. They rang out clear and clean, and the elephant smiled. Did you see what I mean? They prove they are persons no matter how small, and their whole world was made by the smallest of all. How true, yes, how true, said the kangaroo. From now on, you know what I'm planning to do. From now on, I'm going to protect them with you. And the young king in her pouch said, me too. From sun in the summer, from rain when it's fallish, I'm going to protect them no matter how smallish. Whew, I had to read that fast. We're only allowed 10 minutes, and I was breezing through it. Too fast. All right, guys, I love you. Talk to you soon. 11 minutes and 33 seconds.